Great. So we can start. Everyone that's here can see our first question, which is, of course, about the coronavirus, since everyone's talking about that these days. And I was wondering how many of you are concerned, and on what level, about this great problem that the world is facing. So the first question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you about your health and your loved one's health? And the second question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you about your bookings and revenue being impacted by the coronavirus? Petros is telling us that he can't answer the second question, but I already see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 answers. So maybe it's something on your side, Petros, not sure. Maybe you have to answer the first one first in order for it to let you to answer the second one. I have 6 answers on the second question, so I'm not sure what exactly is wrong. Is there anyone that has answered the second question that can write in the chat? Maria is writing something. Anthony is writing something. Let's see what they'll tell us. Christina has answered the second question. Only Christina? I still see 8 answers here, so. Okay, everyone. It must be a bug in the system, because I can see answers from everyone on the second question. Petros answered 65196, a bunch of numbers. Nicola said 10. Lefty just typed a few letters. Christina said 8. Anthony said 8. Anna said 5. Panayot said 6. Maria said 5. John said 3. And a bunch of other people have also answered. So I'm guessing it might tell you that you haven't answered it, but it actually registered your answer. So we can see about that later. So I will end the poll, see what the results are, and then go on to the second question. So let's see how this works. Let's share the results. Tell me if you can see the results of the poll. Okay. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you about you and your loved one's health? I've got a 5, a 6, 6, 2, 8, 5, 6, 8, 3, 5, 4. So that would give an average of around 5. And on the second question, how concerned are you about your bookings and revenue? I have a 5, an 8, 10, 8, 9, 5, 6, 8, 7, and a 9. So that's around a 7 point something average. So I guess that means you're more concerned about how this will impact your bookings and your revenue than your health, which is probably logical, makes sense, since this virus mainly attacks, very old people. However, all of us have old people in our families, and we need to take care of them. So we need to prepare and be as diligent and as careful as we possibly can about this. And that's the reason why I'm doing this webinar today from my home. I was actually on a trip last week abroad, and since I visited 2 different airports, And a few days ago, I felt a little bit under the weather. I thought it would be a good idea to go get myself checked. So I had a coronavirus test 2 days ago, and the results will be out tomorrow. So until then, I'm working from home. So this is why I'm doing this webinar today from home. I would normally be in our office, and I have my colleague Lefty to help me out. So he's on the chat. He can answer any questions you might have. He will help me moderate this session today. And we're here to answer any questions you have. We'll try to do this as interactive as possible. We want to make it more like a workshop than a webinar. So during the presentation, we will do pauses and discuss about what we'll see in the presentation, about the different channels you can list on, and get ideas and what everyone's take about each channel is. So let's go to the second question. You should probably all see on your screen the second poll of the day, which is how many properties do you manage and how many channels are you listed on? I hope this one will work better than the previous one and will not show you a gray next button. Okay, you can all answer the second question. It's just that it's not. It doesn't show you that it's registered, but it actually does get the second answer. So we're done with the second question. I'll just end the poll and publish the answers. Okay, I think you should all see the answers now. So how many properties do you manage? We have 4, 2, 4, 3, 2, 2, 4, 1, 4, 2. And that means that most of the attendees today are either owners or small managers, which is actually the target group of Syncbnb, which is a good thing. And the second question is, how many channels are you listed on? And we have 1, 2, 3, 8, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, 6, 2, 2, 4, 1, 2. Okay. It looks like most of you are on multiple channels. Some of you are only on one. We can discuss both options and tell you the pros and cons about each one. So I'll just finish and close this poll. And let's get this started. Tell me if you see the first slide of the presentation. Can you all see the first slide? Perfect. So the subject we're going to discuss today is which channels should I list my property on, how many channels should I list it on, and what are the pros and cons of each channel. So I'm guessing all of you had this question at some point in time. You started out with Airbnb and then you were like, should I go on another channel? Should I list on booking.com or on HomeAway or Vrbo or any other channel? And you probably, Googled around, asked other people what they were doing, whether it's worth it, if it's a hassle or not. And those of you that have already listed on more channels will probably have seen an increase in your bookings and revenue. So I'm not sure if you all know that, but the #1 way to increase your revenue as a vacation rental host is to list on multiple channels. The other ways are to handle your pricing better, to upload better photos on your listing, to get better reviews, to add more facilities and amenities, and various other stuff. But the #1 is listing on multiple channels. Now, there's a problem when you're listing on multiple channels, and that's that you're open to double bookings. So let's say, for example, you're listed on 3 or 4 channels. Lefty will answer all the questions on the chat window. So I will go on with the presentation. Lefty will answer the questions, and we can discuss more stuff during the next slides and after the end of the presentation. So there's a big question. Which channels should you choose? So we're going to have a look at the largest channels and a few niche ones and look at the pros and cons of each one. So as you'll know, there are hundreds of channels around the world. There's actually more than 200. And there's around 20 global ones. And the rest are either local or niche. So by niche, I'm talking about channels that are targeting a specific target group. Like, for example, Mr. B&B. It's an Airbnb like site that caters to the needs of the LGBTQ community. There's disabled B&B for people with disabled people with wheelchairs and needs of specific amenities inside the homes that they visit. And local sites like balivillas.com or chalesinostria.com, so sites for a specific region. So if you have, for example, a villa in Bali, let's say, you need to be on Bali Villas, but you also need to be on Airbnb, and you probably also need to be on booking.com in order to increase your bookings and revenue. So that's why all those channels exist. We actually did a survey on 1,200 vacation rental owners and managers. We've run it 2 years in a row to ask, basic questions like, how many channels are you listed on? How much has your revenue increased since listing on more channels? And that was actually the most important question that we did. And the answer was staggering. Since listing on more than one channels, the average from 1,200 vacation rental owners and managers was 2.2 times. So imagine, instead of making 10,000 a year, now you're making 22,000 a year just by being on a few more channels. And this is huge, right? So you're probably wondering what the distribution of the channels is. So we dug into our database and found some interesting numbers. So as you'd all expect, Airbnb and booking.com are getting the the lion's share of the market. And this is based on 4,000 properties in 85 countries from our customer database. So Airbnb and Booking are leading the pack. And then before we get to the gray part, which is the most important part, I'll talk a little bit about the others. So there are many other channels that can get you a few bookings a year. So you might ask, is it worth getting on a new channel just for 1 or 2 bookings a year? The answer is yes. If you can handle it without issues, and if you can have peace of mind that you won't get any double bookings, you should certainly get on more channels. Because even if you get 1 booking from a niche channel, that will make up for 10 times the cost of paying for a channel manager, and it's a booking you would otherwise probably never have. So it's important to be at least on 3-4 channels, depending on where you are. We have customers who are listed on 15 or even 20 channels, and even if you never get a booking from some of them, it's an opportunity. So you might have a few dates that are orphans within a month. So you might have back-to-back bookings with a couple of days in between which are empty. Some of those niche channels might fill in those voids. So it's important to be in as many channels as possible if you want to increase your revenue and your bookings, right? So the third largest piece of the pie is direct bookings, and we'll talk more about direct bookings in a while. And these are all the bookings you don't pay commission for. So it's your own website, it could be through Facebook, it could be a phone booking, an email booking, whatever. It's any booking that comes direct to you and not through a third party. We call them OTAs, from online travel agents. So Booking.com, Airbnb, Expedia, HomeAway, TripAdvisor, those are OTAs that get a cut of the booking. They get a percentage. Some of them get 3%, some of them get 18%. So it's important to have a direct selling channel to get direct bookings, to avoid paying commission to those channels, and a few other pros we'll see in a while. So let's start with our first channel, which is Airbnb. I'm guessing all of you are on Airbnb. You can just either raise your hand or just write in the chat that you're on Airbnb. And let's very fast look at the pros and cons of Airbnb. It was built to be easy and friendly to use, so it's managed to do that, and it's probably the most user-friendly website right now in the vacation rental space. It handles payments, and I add this as a pro as opposed to other channels that the host has to handle payments on his own. It has a conscious audience, which means that people that come through Airbnb know that they're going to be staying at a home and not at a hotel. And in contrast, but customers from Booking.com might feel like they're going to a hotel and are expecting hotel facilities and amenities. There's a host guarantee up to 1 million for damages. You can get both direct and request bookings, which means that you can screen your guests before you allow them to stay at your place. The host can provide his own description, as opposed to Booking.com, where it's difficult to provide your own description. Booking.com decides what your description will be, and you can request changes if something is very off. And the commission for the host is currently 3%. And so Airbnb gets the largest commission from the guest. But they have recently introduced a new program where you can choose to have a 14% commission flat, and the guest pays nothing as a commission, in case you want to have rate parity, or in case you want to have the same price on another platform, or for the guest to know exactly how much he's going to pay, because in many cases you don't know how much the guest paid. Disadvantage of Airbnb: restricted support, and by restricted I mean that the first level support of Airbnb cannot help you about a lot of stuff. They have very limited knowledge, and for issues that are a bit more difficult, they have to refer you to second level support, which usually takes very long to answer. So that's a big problem with Airbnb. I've heard of cases where they suspended accounts without any justification and without any possibility to appeal, and that's a very big problem, because if you lose your listing one day, you should be able to either appeal the decision or find out why they removed it, and they never tell you. And the third disadvantage that I've written down is that the hosts do not know in many cases how much the guest paid, and that's because when you get the details of the booking, you see the details of the pricing without the commission that the guest paid to Airbnb. That means that the guest might have paid $1,000 for the booking, and what you see is $850, and the rest is a commission that they paid to Airbnb. So in many cases, that can cause confusion. It can cause problems between the guest and the host. But as I said before, you can solve this problem with the new host commission program, where the host pays the whole commission. By the way, you can write any pro advantage or disadvantage for every channel we discuss in the chat, and if it's something interesting for everyone, we can just repeat that and discuss it during the webinar. So moving on to the second channel, which is Booking.com, and the main advantages are that there's an advanced promotions engine, so you can build your own promotions for early bird, for late checkout, for Genius customers, for Double Genius. There's a bunch of different options you can choose to create promotions, which could boost your bookings. They have very good support, which at least in a few countries that we've used their support. The first level support is much more knowledgeable about the system and about the way that their system works than Airbnb support. There's an advanced user management, which means that you can invite more users into your Booking.com account. If you're a manager, you can invite your owner. If you're an owner, you can invite a co-owner. You can, give access to more people to your account to manage bookings and stuff like that. And of course, it brings you a lot of traffic. So if you put your home on Booking.com, it's very likely that you will get bookings very fast. The downside is that you might get many cancellations. So depending on the cancellation policy you put, you might get too many or less. In the disadvantages column, we have the fact that because Booking.com started out mainly as a hotel booking platform, many of the older customers think that they're booking a hotel even when they're booking a home. So they might start asking for breakfast, start asking for room service, or for daily cleaning, or for stuff that usually isn't offered in Airbnb. It's quite complicated to use because there's many menus and many options. However, during the past few years, it's improved a lot. And the cancellations we mentioned earlier, you can only get direct bookings. You don't have the possibility to screen your guests. Sorry about that. I have Lefteris on the line with me to help me out in case we need anything. So the host cannot add his own description, as we said before, only if you request a change. And the commission is quite high. It's 15%. Lefty, I'm going to shut you down because there's some noise coming from the phone, so we can talk on the chat. Okay, so let's go on to the next channel, which is Vrbo. How many of you are on Vrbo? Can you write in the chat, please? Let's get an idea. Nicholas is on Vrbo, great. So, Nicholas, you can just write in the chat about stuff that you like or not like about Vrbo. The interface resembles Airbnb. It's something between Airbnb and Booking. So some like it, some don't. I think it's fairly easy to use. Main advantage is that you will get quality guests, so usually large parties or families, mainly from the USA, because that's where Vrbo was mainly, that's where it started and that's where it's grown and that's where it's becoming a large platform. You get long bookings. There's a live chat support, which not very few channels offer a live chat support. And it has a very large network because it's bought more than 20 sites during the past 10 years. So it has a very large network where you can promote and distribute your properties. Disadvantages: high commissions. So they charge a commission for the payment processing, for the booking, and for a bunch of other stuff. And it can rack up to 18% in some cases. Not ideal for small properties. So if you have a small apartment in the middle of a city, it's not a good idea to list on Vrbo. If you have a villa next to the sea, it's a good idea. And they don't have any master account or co-host, so if you want to share your account with others or invite other people to handle your account there's no such option. You have to share your own password to do that. Let's go to the next channel, which is Expedia. So Expedia is the largest OTA on the planet. OTA, as we said before, means online travel agent. That has millions of users and customers all over the world, mainly in the United States, but also all over the world. You're gonna get many bookings from the United States. You're gonna get quality guests from Expedia. They have a master account. They have good support, but it's difficult to use. Their user interface is very updated. They haven't refreshed it in a decade, maybe even more. and they charge a fairly large commission. So they usually charge 18% per booking, which is more than Booking.com and more than any other channel probably. So let's continue with Agoda. How many of you have heard of Agoda? Agoda is the largest OTA in Asia, so it's very strong in the Asian markets, not only for Asian guests, but also for Asian hosts. So if you want to attract Asian guests, you should get on Agoda. Now, with the whole coronavirus thing, I'm guessing it's not your first priority, but up to a few months ago, it would be very lucrative to get guests from Asia. And I'm guessing, in a few months, all this will be over with the coronavirus. So you will start looking for ways to increase your revenue again, and Asia might be a good option. So it's growing very fast. They've just started a new homes platform to combat Airbnb. They call it Agoda Homes. And a few of the disadvantages are that they're relatively unknown outside of Asia, and their support is not very good. So you're going to have issues with their support if you need anything from them. If you are a professional manager and your properties are handled professionally, and by professionally I mean that you offer more amenities and facilities than a usual host, you should try out Travelstation. So Travelstation has a difference to the other channels that they only offer properties that can offer extra amenities and facilities to their guests. So either if it's luggage storage or concierge services or a taxi from the airport or whatever, if you offer such services, then you should try Travelstation. It's preferred by guests, mainly high-level guests that want to have five-star hotel level facilities in a home. So if you offer that, Travelstation is the correct, is a very good option for you. And let's talk a little bit about direct bookings. Now, the most important thing about direct bookings is, of course, the larger profit per booking, since you don't have to pay a commission to anyone. But also because you're building your own brand loyalty. So if you have your own website and you attract visitors to your own website and you sell directly, you can start building your own brand. You can do some Google ads, some Facebook ads, you can do some social media, which is free. You can do a bunch of stuff to promote your own website and get your own bookings and create your own customer base, slowly, but year by year. It's also very important that you control the experience. So from point A to, from the beginning of the journey of the guest until he comes to your place and he stays there and he leaves, you control the whole experience. With the OTAs, with Airbnb, Booking, HomeAway, and the rest, you cannot control the experience. What happens on their sites, you cannot control it. If you have your own site, you can control it, which means that you can offer a much better experience. For example, now with the coronavirus pandemic now, if you sell on your own website, you can have a big banner on your website above the booking that says, our home is disinfected after every visit, for example. Or our area has 0 coronavirus cases, or whatever you want to say. And that helps boost the conversion rate, and that will bring you bookings. You cannot do that on Airbnb or Booking.com. On Airbnb, you might put it on the description, but you can't put a big, large yellow banner saying that, right? So you cannot control the experience. And for sure, the money you save from commissions can be reinvested in your properties, which is very important in order to be able to handle the competition. In the disadvantages columns, we have the fact that you cannot screen your guests. And just give me a second here. I might be getting, okay. So you cannot screen your guests, which means that you cannot, allow or disallow based on reviews. You cannot win reviews from your guests. So yeah, for sure you could have a review module on a website, but it would be very, very poor because not so many people, would book from there or use it to have an actual value. You don't have any cost guarantee that Airbnb offers. and it needs some more time, personal time and effort to build it. However, we do have something very interesting about this, and I will talk to you about later about that. So this is what your website might look like. On the right side, if you have multiple properties, it could look like a mini Airbnb where you can book directly. Or if you only have one property, I will show you, in a while what a one property website looks like. You could build it on any CMS. CMS stands for Content Management System. The most popular one is WordPress. And then there's Joomla, Drupal, and there are the self-service ones like Wix and Squarespace and a couple of others. Let's take a few moments to talk about niche channels. So Trip Villas is a website that has a lot of villas. HandDiscover is a website that has homes that are cater to the needs of people with disabilities. Airbnb we talked about earlier. Glamming Hub has it has homes, or not exactly homes. It's like camping, but with one level above camping. So with amenities and facilities you would normally not find in campings. And how do you get on those websites? How can you list on one of them? So two ways. First way, you use one of our guides. If you just Google Syncbnb guides, you will get to this page. So what this page gives you, it has step-by-step instructions to list your property on any of the large channels we just discussed, with screenshots, with step-by-step instructions. Everything you need is there, and it's fairly easy. It's not very difficult to do it. If you do not want to do it, if you don't have the time to do it, or if you can't do it, then Syncbnb can do it for you. So you can just go to our website and go to our products. There's a product called Revenue Booster. Click on that and follow the instructions, and we will help you list on any channel you want, as many properties as you like. This is a paid service, but it's fairly cheap compared to what you get. However, we propose for you to do it on your own. The reason is because if you do it on your own, then you get a good idea of the channel you're on. You know how it works. You visited it. You know the user interface. You know the experience. If we do it for you, then during your first booking or whenever you need to do anything on that website, you will probably come to us and ask us, what do I do now? So that's the reason we propose to our customers for them to do it on their own. If you can't or you won't, then we can help you. So let's say you've managed to list on 3 or 4 or 5 channels, and then you start getting bookings from all of them. So you've doubled your revenue. That's great. Woohoo! But there's a catch. Whenever you get a booking from one channel, you have to log on to all the other channels and update the calendars so that you don't get a double booking. So that's a very large pain, and you need a way for that to be done automatically. So Syncbnb does that for you automatically. That's what we do. We synchronize all the calendars on all the channels so that you never get a double booking. We also offer a double booking guarantee to make sure, to give you peace of mind, and a bunch of other stuff that we can see in a few minutes. I will show you, a quick run through how Syncbnb works and what features we offer. And we currently have customers in 85 countries, and we manage around 4,000 properties in those countries. And if you can start a free trial with Syncbnb at any time. Just visit syncbnb.com, click on the green button on the top right that says free trial. You have 30 days to try us out. If you like us, you continue. If you don't like us, you can just stop. So I'll give you a very brief run through of Syncbnb. It's purposely built to be very easy to use and very friendly. So as soon as you log in, you see a dashboard with a chart with the bookings of the past months. And you can also see your upcoming bookings and a few other information. If you click on bookings, you will see the list of all your bookings in one place. So this is actually the first aha moment where you see all your bookings in one place. Is very important. You can see that also on the calendar, where you can just click on every booking and see more information. and you can click to, if you can add a new booking from here. So if you get a direct booking from a phone call or from someone you know or someone that stayed at your place previously, you can just add it in Syncbnb, and Syncbnb will immediately update all the other calendars to make sure that you never get a double booking for those dates. If you have many properties, we also have a multi-calendar view, so you can see all your properties one below the other with all the the month running and all the bookings of that month, which is a very useful view for people with many properties. We have a quite comprehensive report section where you can see bookings and revenue per rental, per month, per specific date, per channel. There's a bunch of filters you can use, and you can export statistics and do other stuff you want, in other systems. And it's quite comprehensive and has quite a few options there. Rate management, in case you want to use Syncbnb to manage your rates on all the other channels. We currently support Airbnb and Expedia, and Booking.com is following very soon in a couple of weeks. So you can update your prices on Syncbnb, and Syncbnb will then push those prices on the three main channels, Airbnb, Booking, Expedia. So that will save you a lot of time. Instead of going on each channel and updating your prices, you do it once on us, and then we push your channels and all the other rates on all the other channels. And this is what it would look like. So you can choose a specific day. You first set your your basic rates, and then you can start adding exceptions for every specific period or date you want. So one more thing for everyone that has been here today and has listened to this webcast, we will offer a 50% discount up to 100 euros for the first 2 months, plus the one free month that you already get for the free trial. The date here is wrong because this is a screenshot from an older presentation, but we can extend this offer until the end of March. So if you're interested, just start your free trial, syncbnb.com, and click on the button on the top right that says free trial. Just follow the steps. It's very easy. The process is very easy. You will be amazed how easy it is to to synchronize your calendars on more channels. And that's the main thing that we offer. It's peace of mind. So with Syncbnb, you get 24/7 support, and you get 0 double booking guarantee, and every possible channel existing, we can probably synchronize it. So with that, we can conclude this webinar, and we can discuss a little bit about other questions you have or issues. So let me just have a quick look at the chat window, see if there are any questions we can discuss. I've seen something about 9 flats. They stopped. They've shut down together with Wimdu. So Wimdu and 9 flats have shut down. Nicola says, I just want to avoid double listings, like hotels.com and Vrbo create double listings in Expedia. Yeah, you would have to talk to Expedia support or Vrbo support about that. They can merge your listings. So if you have 2 double listings on those platforms, you can talk to support and they will merge them and they will become one if you don't want to have that problem. Okay, so you've had quite a few discussions before that. What I propose is, first of all, thank you for being here today. And you have nothing to lose to try us out. Just go to syncbnb.com, click on the free trial, start the free trial process. We're there 24/7 to help you out. And I will just leave the chat window running for a few more minutes to complete any other questions you might have. And I will conclude the webinar at this point. So thank you very much. Stay safe. Stay at home if you can to avoid spreading the disease further. And let's just hope this will all be, a bad memory, bad distant memory in a few months. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.